Are we going to have to be concerned about your behavior? And welcome back, YouTube. We've got them back up. Now we just need a believer in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that to request on up. See if they can question their belief in in their god, or whatever it is. Apparently, Charlie is not hearing the audio. Maybe try your phone volume. I don't know, though, if other things are working. I honestly don't know why I'm saying it out loud. But assuming you can hear me, and you have a belief, and you can question that, then go ahead and request up. I'd like to see why you make so many assumptions. If you can even question that. No audio for Jimmy either. There is an option if there I see we're gonna have this problem. It's very strange. Yeah, it's not your fault. It's it's giving me mixed messages. It's saying I can now accept guests, but I can't request up or accept guests. So it's very, very strange. Well, yeah, I know, right, Heidi? I may have to read the poem like this. I don't know why it's acting so strange. It's showing me that people are requesting up, but I can't accept them for some reason. I saw it, and I have to either invite you, but yeah, I know, and it's always me somehow. These glitches happen too. I have one more trick up my sleeve. If it doesn't work, it may bring down the live, but I'll try it. Problems happening in the chat, but hopefully everybody who was having problems with the audio, maybe you can hear me now. And if you can't, then try restarting your app a couple times. That seemed to work for me. And how is it? I've got to wonder. I don't do this often, but is it we're at 8 hours, nearly 9, and we're at 59,000 likes? Did I?
No clue.
I did something wrong. I failed. Seems like we got it working on both sides. TikTok is working again. YouTube is working again. Now we just need a believer.
On my end, it shows you and I as just black boxes.
Really?
Here, let me try clicking on me and see what happens. No, clicking on either one of us doesn't pull up anything.
Yes, Mika.
But as long as people can hear us, and all that good jazz, it makes no difference to me.
Great. Then now we just need a believer. Where are they? Where? Well, how would anybody know that? I'm confused too. Yeah. How would you know that Amy doesn't care if you didn't hear him?
I mean, I definitely don't ever care if people can't hear me. I just keep on talking anyways.
That's good, Hazel. I don't know what there is to hear anymore. But I mean, nothing until we've got a believer with a belief to question.
I will say, Aaron says that he refuses to hear me now.
Bridget feels like they missed some good stuff. I don't think you did. I don't know what you could have missed.
We solved the religious problem. Turns out atheism is true, so
How is
all the religious
atheism
groups
true?
back it up. Well, you're supposed to go along with the bit.
What does that mean? Atheism is true, though. Like, what? How is that a claim that can be true?
It means that atheism is the correct position to hold.
Correct according to who?
Thrayle, it was for the bit. You don't. Never mind.
If atheism is correct, then how can... Who is to judge the right and wrongness of your position?
Reality.
Does reality judge?
Reality is existing if atheism is according importance to reality, then that is it saying that it is the true or correct message.
Are you replacing reality with God so that you can have some arbiter of ultimate isness?
No, it's not that.
Well, then what the fuck is reality?
Oh, hold on. I might be leaving one here soon. Just.
This is what they do, folks. This is what they do.
They actually work. This is what they do.
They pretend to work in a gas station and get customers, right when I'm asking questions. That's what they do. All of them, Mika. The they, the them, that do what they do when they do it. This is what they do when they do what they do. All of them. You know, the ones that do this. Good morning, Philly Rat. How are you?
Good morning. I am here to question Hammy.
Well, he's dodging.
I noticed.
He's dodging like a otter who rage quits. But we might have somebody else to question while Hammy is dodging his way around.
It's gone because it was quiet.
Hello, Jacob. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
I'm 33.
Do you have a belief in a god or god's higher power or anything like that?
Yes.
And what god do you believe in?
I can't define God. I just know that something is there, and I use a really cool analogy for this. So, is everybody...
I'm sorry, you're saying that you can't define God. I don't know what you're about to give us an analogy for.
I guess the easiest way you can define it is that it's an external force that we ourselves... Bro, that's weird. My phone glitched out. But I guess what I could say is that the best definition or understanding I can use is that it's an external force that drives something around us, right?
It is really distracting how loud those wind chimes are. Is there any way you can get somewhere else?
Yep. That's what I'm doing. I'm moving on mute while I do it.
I was kind of enjoying them, but you're right, they were distracting.
If there was a little fainter in the background, maybe, but it was overpowering.
All right, am I still good? You can hear me?
Yes.
All right, so I would just say, if anything, to define God, it's an external force outside of me that controls and alters my reality when I myself don't do it.
An external force that controls and alters reality. Why do you think that there is such an external force?
So we know external forces exist, and that's why I asked if everybody here knows the game Blackjack.
What does that have to do with external forces? And just to clarify, when you're saying an external force controls reality, what do you mean by controls?
So it's the concept of luck is the reason why I'm bringing it up. I myself do not create luck unless I choose to create luck. But if you sit across from me at a poker table and you draw an ace and a jack while I get a 5 and a 10, right? A king, whatever way you want to go, my chances are lower and I have to rely on the probability of luck.
What is luck?
To be able to get it. Luck would be, by the definition that my understanding, is just something that gives us positivity and prosperity by chance.
Positivity and prosperity. What is...
Yeah.
So not prosperity. I'm confused. What is luck?
It goes both ways, because it is good luck and bad luck, right?
Is it just things happening?
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Then what are we actually talking about here? When you say that something external is controlling things, what is that? What does that mean, something is controlling?
So it means that, see, the word control is a little different too, but it means that somehow something happened that I didn't do myself that has led me to where I am in life.
But what does that mean, control? Like if it's just something happening.
Continues.
Sorry, if it's just something happening, then how is it controlled?
Because when I'm saying it like that, it's in the aspect of it moving something forward, right? So whether it's done by me or not. It's
something that happens, but what about it is controlled? What does control mean?
The existence of it. The fact that it came into existence, or creating.
What does control mean?
Control means to take reins over something and lead it to something.
So what indicates that some external force is leading things to things?
See, and this is why I say we can't truly define God, because at that point we don't know what that is. We don't have a true answer as to what that would be.
I didn't ask what was doing it. I said what's indicating to you that this is even happening.
Life experience.
What experience?
I walk outside and the sun decides to blind me, but the person beside me walks outside and the sun does not.
That doesn't even make sense. What do you mean? Why are you staring at the sun?
I'm not.
Okay, then how is the sun blinding you?
Again, this is an analogy.
I'm not following.
We're not talking in the physical right now. I mean, I can clearly see this.
So, I'm sorry, you can clearly see what?
That you're not following. Instead, you're deflecting.
I don't think you know what deflecting means in this case. I'm trying to find out what it is that indicates to you that there is something guiding, controlling, moving things towards something. What is this that indicates to you?
I don't make every decision.
And you're telling me an analogy about how the sun anthropomorphically blinds one person and doesn't blind another, which doesn't make any sense, doesn't follow, and I'm not sure it's even based in reality.
Because I don't make every decision in my life. I didn't make the decision to look at the sun. I merely walked outside and got blinded. The other person did the exact same action, right? And did not. So that's
Does anybody have any questions for this guest? Because I don't think they're here in good faith. I'm not.
I mean, that's all I hear. Have a good one.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I spoke too soon. My coworker, she forgot her phone at the house, so she had to go back home and get it.
So you are not done.
I'm not done here at work, no.
That was so contentious, like literally arguing with every question asked.
The interruptions are so frustrating.
He just wanted to make his blackjack analogy and let it land, and it didn't make
Have
any
you ever
sense.
thought of blackjack? I mean, the aces can be 1s or 13s, and there's kings and queens that are all 10s. I mean, have you ever considered that, Thrayle? Boom. Mic drop.
What the fuck are you talking about, Hammy?
I mean,
When are the
it's
kings
clearly you
13s?
don't get it. No, aces are 13s. I said kings are 10s.
Thank you, Big D. Aces are 11s. Or 1s. Have you ever played blackjack? That's how you get a blackjack with a king and an ace. It's 21. Faces are 10.
Look, you're not playing 3D blackjack, apparently.
That's what it is. I'm not playing 3D blackjack. Do you split aces in 3D blackjack?
You split all of the cards. I mean, it's too like I'm sorry, but it's just so complicated and complex, and I can already tell you're not going to get it because you didn't get his blackjack ability.
Just for the record, you always split aces. And if you double down on 13, they will send a manager over to ask you questions. I don't know why.
I know why.
I pretend not to know why. But thank you, Angela. Also, Philly Red, Insomnia, Claire, Donna B, Yellow, Big D, capital B, and, Big D, capital B. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for helping with the goal. Oops. That's not the one I meant to do.
Look, you just gotta know when to hold them. You gotta know when to fold them.
What about walking away?
You also gotta know when to run.
Is that a fact? I don't know who got to that one first, but thank you, Bridget, and Kid Skywalker. Thank you both.
Philly, you came up here to question me? Why would you question me?
Because you were running away.
Well, I thought I was getting off of work.
More work for Hammy.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
Lucifer Morningstar asks, or he doesn't ask, he says we're all just electric signals in a carbon body, but I would ask, are we? Are we just that? And if we are just that, well then, why would you name yourself after a character from a mythos that claims something else?
Are we the sum of the equal parts, or however that phrase goes?
I don't think equal parts is part of that.
It sounded wrong, but I went ahead and went with it anyways.
Are you saying, are we the sum of the parts, or are we the parts attempting to sum ourselves up?
I'm done with today.
Today has just begun for most people. Well, not
And I'm
most
already
people,
done with it.
but most of our viewers, anyways.
Well, I'm already done with it.
Congratulations. So now that you're done with today, Hemi, can you question your belief there are no gods? This is what they do every time.
Look, I have customers, Mr. Skeleton Man.
Skeleton Man. been
And by the way,
proofreading. Oh, what? What?
oh, I was going to say I can't question my beliefs.
You can't.
No, I can.
Oh, well then,
Even though I'm done with
what
the
the hell?
day. Yeah.
Well, then what the hell do you believe?
I believe no gods exist.
Why?
Because of a myriad of reasons. And it all depends on the God claim itself. But if we're talking about just a general specific, just any or a God in general, then the lack of any kind of design or forethought into what into existence appears to be that there is no God. And of course, I mean, you know this, but for any of the newer guests who are, hasn't heard you question me before, I always hold the position that I can be wrong. I could be wrong. So that's why I say I believe no gods exist and not make the same claim theists make up. I know no gods exist.
I'm gonna ask a question from the comments actually. I think it might be sarcastic, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. Flat or round, God or no God, how does it change your life?
Well, if we go off of just my experience from my previous belief of believing in a God to now, it's changed in the fact of my outlook on life in and of itself. But we do have a new guest. My screen's still showing all black, so I don't know if it's
No,
friend or
they're still loading in.
okay. So it's changed my life for the better as far as so like for instance, the idea that there was this being that was watching over my shoulder and watching every little thing I ever did kind of felt me with anxiety and felt, I felt like I was like it's like whenever you have that manager that's looking over you and you are so focused on trying not to mess up that whenever you do, you just are like, you're like, oh my god, oh, and you're freaking out about it. It was the same way with me, but with God, and the threat of hell was really, really real and very much instilled into me. That the freak out of doing anything wrong was 10 times worse than possibly getting reprimanded by your boss. So the idea that that being is no longer over my shoulder was a big relief for me in general. And and yeah, so like as far as like this belief that I hold, that seems to be the biggest change in my life as it is.
What if there was a God that wasn't looking over your shoulder?
If we are talking about my if we're talking about my mindset now, Or are we talking about the mindset that I had back then?
Um, let's talk about today since,
Okay.
yeah.
So today, I still, to me, it's not necessarily the fact of the God watching over. It's more, like I said, that the existence in and of itself seems to have no forethought or design element to it to suggest that it was created in any way, shape, or form. So for me, that's one of the biggest things as far as like a just kind of like a general God that would suggest that this God doesn't exist.
Why do you I hear in your answer an assumption that God would make it better than it is if it was made by a God. Is that what you're saying?
One second, the bell's about to go out once this goes release. So I would say that would be an accurate assumption only because of the fact that if there is a being that has created everything, then it would need to be intelligently designed because of the fact that this being has put intent into it.
So I'm hearing you say that there is no intelligence in the quote design. But I doubt that's what you're meaning. Am I wrong?
Oh, no, I would say that there is no intelligence in the design.
That there is nothing intelligent about the design.
So I'm not saying that there isn't any aspects within existence that aren't intelligent, but if we're going with the overall picture of what it is versus what we would expect from intelligently designed, then I would say it does not appear to be intelligently designed.
Does that assume that I suspect when you're talking about a creator God, hypothetically, you're talking about one that is extremely powerful and extremely knowledgeable, if not omnipotent and omniscient.
I would think that in a manner of speaking, I would say that I could agree to that because. Oh wait, got a customer coming up to the counter. Give me 1 second.
I have played around with the idea, what if there is a creator God that is not all powerful, not all knowing?
What if there is a creator God that is not all powerful or all knowing?
For that reason, I'm curious about your statement about there doesn't seem to be this intelligent design. What if there is a God that is just not perfect at creating?
So, one of the other issues I have with just creator gods, including this idea, is that there would be some influence on the world that we would be able to test. And since we have not found any influence whatsoever, that while it's not the end all be all that this being doesn't exist, it is a strong indicator that leads closer towards not existing than does.
Wow. Thank you, Donna B.O. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, that was amazing, Donna.
It was beautiful.
Oh my. Thank you again. I appreciate you so much. Did that throw you off your stride, Hammy?
The question that was given. Whenever I stopped, whenever you said thank you, Donna, that was the end of my sentence.
And then I threw Philly off Philly's stride. Sorry about that.
I don't remember what the line of questions was, but I don't think that was your fault, Thrayle.
I will take blame since, I'm in the middle of juggling customers and answering the question.
Yep, it's your fault. I'm glad we cleared that up.
I got this customer talk with. I will catch us up where we were with the question.
We were exploring why you dogmatically reject all notions of God, including one that might not be all knowing or all powerful. I might have just imposed a position on you.
Well, with the expression since you said dogmatic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now that he's gone. So the question was about a creator God that isn't all knowing and all. I forgot the other omni.
Mm-hmm. Any of the omnis. Does it have to be
Yeah.
omnis for it to be a god? Creator.
And again, that my answer to that was the fact that that with any kind of creator God, within the act of creation, we would expect to see some influence on the material world. And the fact that we have not seen any of that, while it's not the end all be all, is a strong indicator that this God doesn't exist.
You're talking about a like a current, like what when you say influence, you don't mean like, does that discount the possibility of a deist God?
Of a deist God, of a God that created everything and walked away?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't, because even in that instance, we would still see some kind of influence of this being from creating.
How do you know?
Because this is the material plane where we like in everything, like it doesn't matter. We see it in star formation. We see it in everything that we can watch and observe. Something being influenced to form something else.
What do you mean?
In which case, well, so like
Being
for instance,
influenced.
right. So for star formations, for instance, we see that like whenever a star unalives and it implodes, we see the stuff that made up that star goes into creating new star systems. We've seen every stage of that happening, and we see that we see the influence of the previous star influencing the new star formation. And
How do you
if there
know
was a
that
God,
we're not seeing influence from that god and just not knowing what to attribute that to?
it's very possible that that is the case. However, I don't like. Hold on, customer came in.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird side of the questioning to be on. Trying to convince Hammy of a god. Well, we're not really doing that. But seeing if he can question his certainty.
So repeat the question one more time to make sure I have it right, since I got interrupted.
Which question?
Oh gosh, dang it.
You were saying we see
don't
it in
have it.
star formations that the influence
Right.
prior, we can somehow identify it. I guess I was asking,
Yeah.
how do you know that we're not seeing some influence and just unable to identify it or pin it to what comes before? What deistic entity farted us out or expands her wings?
Right. Right, that was the question. So it could be the case that there is some kind of influence that we have not been able to pick up due to lack of the proper tools or the lack of knowledge in how to do so. However, it's one of those things where I don't feel the need in assuming that that is the case just because it. What's the word? I don't see the need in assuming that is the case. That just because we haven't found the right tools, that we should just accept it as the possibility. I also hold on, again because this is my room.
I'm not quite sure if I'm hearing a dogmatic rejection of possibility.
It's not a dogmatic rejection of the possibility, but I personally am not convinced that that is the case. I'm fine with it being an I don't know, but yeah, I mean I'm fine with it just being an I don't know in that instance.
I don't know's in the chat, even though it's more of a fine with it being than just a straight I don't know.
Yeah, there's an asterisk to that I don't know.
Hammy, what shape is the Earth?
Oh, the Earth is definitely an spheroid.
Why do you believe that?
Because we have mathematical equations on top of a bunch of different lines of evidence, including the fact that the Earth has been photographed from the moon. And yes, the moon is in space, not a smaller distant object in our firmament, as some would say.
What the fuck is firmament?
It's a made-up nonsense thing that says that we live in a fishbowl, an upside-down fishbowl.
Go ahead, Philly. Thank you again, Donaby. Oh, did you have a question, Philly?
I'm interested in how I'm intrigued with how Hammy has gone just a little bit less firm on belief, but maybe that's not what's happening. I don't know. Do you think that's what's happening, Hammy?
Oh no, I'm not less firm in my position. I still hold the position that no gods exist.
And does that then include a definition of a powerful, knowing creator God? Like, is that what you mean when you say no gods exist?
My definition of God isn't limited to a specific thing because I do understand that there are multiple different people who hold to multiple different definitions of gods. Uh, some as um, just aliens that people assume to be gods, all the way up to the actual almighty, omni everything God. And don't. I hold the position that that I believe none of them exist. So my definition isn't limited to a specific type of deity. It's open to basically the broad end of deities.
So, if I said God is love,
Then I would
and that
say,
is my definition of God,
then I would ask why. I would ask, is this not just a sandwich instance
no
of
sandwiches.
God?
Nope.
Are you sure?
I reject sandwiches.
So I would say that if you are defining love as God, then cool. I would say that that definition is very, very, what's the word? It's why use love to mean God when we already have the term love.
Trying to get into the headspace.
And also, if God is love, then does that mean all forms of love is God? Or is there some form of love that is not God? I would just keep asking questions about this idea that God is love.
So this was my position, right? That God is love. I would have said God is the purest love. Any good and healthy and pure love being expressed is an expression of God.
Then I would probably ask, if this God is pure love, then he would detest and make sure that anything that is not love, make sure it didn't exist. Would he not?
Can you repeat that, please?
Just like I got a chicken a vendor.
Oh, we have a guest joining us. Hello, Paul. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
48.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
I do believe in God, yes.
Which god do you believe in?
Can you clarify that? But I'm not sure what you mean.
Yeah, I questioned hundreds of people a week. So, some of them believe in gods that are, literally everything. Some of them believe in, gods of a particular religion or faith, or some people believe in some god they made up right before requesting up. So when you say you believe in God, which God do you believe in? Is it like a God from a scripture, from a doctrine, a practice, a tradition, a mythology?
I believe that there's one true God, and that God is the God that, when Moses asked his name, said that I am, meaning
So you
God
believe
that
in
is,
Moses and that God. You believe in Jesus.
I do.
Have you read the Bible from beginning to end?
No, but every week we read sections, and I'm halfway through the Gospels.
Do you believe all the stories from the Bible to be true and literal?
Some yes, some no. It depends on what book we're talking about.
Are there books that you believe to not be true?
Um, wow, that's an interesting. Books in the Bible that I believe to not be true. That's the question.
Yes.
Well, I mean, some books are allegorical, some books are poetry, some books are songs, some books are history, some books are revelation of future events. Do I
Interesting.
believe any? Do I believe any of them are lying to me? No, I do not.
Do you believe the stories of Genesis?
Do I believe the story of Genesis? Yes.
Do you believe it to be a literal story? 6-day creation, man formed from dirt, woman from rib.
Um, sure.
Why do you believe that to be literal?
Because I believe that the Bible is the Word of God. It's divine revelation.
Divine revelation. So
Can
you
I?
believe, yes, go ahead.
I mean, it's not.
But I've heard it both ways. I've heard that it's allegorical and that some people believe that it's literal. But I think the underlying message, regardless of whether it's allegorical or if it's literal, there's truth there.
Do you believe that the Bible, as the Word of God, can be misunderstood?
Sure.
How do you know that you are not misunderstanding?
Um, my so discernment, I guess, would be the first answer. The second answer would be that in my particular faith, there has been a there's been extensive interpretation and study that that has been done over many, many, many years. Now there are still points of disagreement, and I think that as time goes by, our understanding deepens and it expands. So I think that there are some things that that are still not fully understood. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if that answers your question.
It does.
No.
Why do you think God would allow there to be things that are still not fully understood after this many
Well, I think that
centuries?
I think that His ways are higher than our ways, and I think probably from the very beginning there's been disagreement over what things have meant, and it's not that because He's allowing free will, He's allowing us to ultimately decide. Hold on. He's allowing us to ultimately decide. And because we're imperfect, our understanding will be imperfect. Hold on one second.
Yeah, sounds like you got real busy real quick.
Because we are imperfect.
Yeah, because we're imperfect, our understanding is going to be imperfect.
How wrong? How imperfect? Like, are there degrees, or is it like yes, no, black, white?
I don't know. You'd have to be specific on it. You would have to be specific. Like, ask me a specific thing, you know, in order for me to be able to answer something like that. Like, I mean, there are certain things like the I don't know. You'd have to ask me something specific.
Sure. The first thing that comes to mind is the Crusades. Was that like that seems pretty imperfect compared to a modern.
So how are the Crusades? So you're talking about the truth of the Bible. How are the Crusades related to that in your mind?
Christians interpreted the Bible to give them reason to conduct the Crusades.
What did they see in the Bible that allowed them that gave them justification to do it?
Many things.
Name me the top one.
I don't know what the top one is, but the
Okay,
Bible
name me
is
anyone.
full of
Stop for a moment,
imagery.
Paul.
The Bible is full of the idea of there being a war, there being a battle, a fight. There is history touted in the Bible for genocide, for wiping out sinful nations, for conquering lands in the name of God. All of these things can be found in the Bible. All of these things.
Which scriptures are we talking about here?
I mean,
I've just
if you want a specific one, I can give you one about the fact that whenever Moses was leading his people to the promised land and everything, God specifically said, go and wipe out all these people because this is the land I promised you.
Mm-hmm.
The Christians, who were the Crusaders, would have sat there and used a verse like that about how God wants the good Christian man to go and remove all the Muslims from the promised land because that's the land that God promised them because they are God's chosen people.
I would suggest to you that anybody that used the Mosaic covenant to justify anything post Christ would be severely mistaken. Almost to the point that they knew they would be mistaken, but they cherry picked those verses as a justification. I don't think that's a misunderstanding.
Why do you think that they would know they would be mistaken?
Well, because every Christian knows that we're no longer bound by Mosaic law.
How do you know that they all know that?
What's that?
You say they all know that. Why do you say they all know that?
Because Christ was pretty explicit in saying that Mosaic law no longer applied. The ritual law, the dietary law.
I'm sorry, where was he explicit? Where was he explicit in saying that?
He was explicit when he said that he has fulfilled the law and he gives you a new covenant and a new way to reach Christ.
Fulfilled mean?
Fulfilled?
What does fulfilled mean? Yes.
That fulfilled. That means it's what does fulfilled mean? That means the law is fulfilled in him. That means it's completed in him. It's fulfilled by him. Yes.
So it was like a video game achievement, and he achieved it.
Let me say again.
You're saying it was like a video game achievement, and he made the achievement.
No. I mean,
let me
let me take a step back here. So In the Mosaic covenant and everything that came before Christ, there were rituals, there were laws, there were sacrifices, there
Sure.
were all these things so that man could relate to God and that man could be righteous in the eyes of God. Now, the only
Yes,
problem
Paul.
was,
Yes, Paul. We know this. The question is, what does it mean that Jesus fulfilled the law?
well, he was the only one that perfectly was able to follow it. He was the only one that was sinless. So he
When
fulfilled the law. He's the
when
only
you
one that
say
did
he
it perfectly.
perfectly followed it, did he follow all 613 laws
Absolutely. He never
perfectly?
sinned.
What is
Oh,
what does it mean to follow all of them perfectly? Like, are you aware of the 613 laws?
All of them? No.
Then how can you know that he fulfilled them perfectly?
Because he said he did? I don't know. Are you expecting me to go back, look at every
When
single
he
one of the laws, and then
when he
cross-reference
said,
the Bible to
I'm
don't
make
not
make
sure?
a claim
expecting
like
you
that,
to,
Paul.
Paul.
Is that, hold on a second, you're saying that I can't make
Paul,
that assumption?
we're not here to tell you what you can and can't assume. I'm curious. When you requested up here, did you intend to argue and be pedantic, to be rude, or did you come up here to fulfill 1 Peter 3:15 in good faith?
I'd say I was doing this in good faith.
Are you familiar with 1 Peter 3:15?
Off the top of my head, no.
Always be prepared to give an answer for the hope that you have. With gentleness, I can't remember the rest.
Then I would say that because he said he fulfilled the law in the Bible, that's why I believe it.
Do you believe everything the Bible says without thinking about it critically for yourself?
I discern.
What do you mean?
I think critically about it for myself.
So, the Bible says that Jesus fulfilled all the laws. At least that's your interpretation of what the Bible says. So, you believe it rather than critically discern whether that is the case or not by looking at the laws.
Well, I've not found any evidence to dispute that.
Didn't Jesus say he came to fulfill it, meaning that he hasn't fulfilled it?
I don't believe so, no.
I was pretty sure it said, "Do not suppose I've come to abolish the law. I did not come to abolish it, but to fulfill it," which would imply
Okay.
that he hadn't fulfilled it at the
Okay.
time. So, what exactly, like, was there a checklist that he was going, like, law by law,
I
fulfilling?
don't think it was meant that way, no.
So then, how do we know if Jesus actually fulfilled the law? Since he only said that he came to do it, but didn't say that he did do it.
Because he said he did?
Well, he said that he came to do it. He didn't say that he did it. He didn't say, "Don't suppose that I did, that I came to do away with law, but that I did the law." He said that I came to do it.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming that he did what he said he was.
Well, I mean,
Why do you assume that?
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to look up the verse.
if you're looking for the verse that we were just discussing, that'd be Matthew 5, or is it 15? I think it's 5.
Yeah.
5 verse 15. Where it says,
Yes,
"I come to
Jesus fulfilled the law by perfectly obeying its moral demands, embodying its intent, and satisfying its sacrificial requirements
I'm
through
sorry,
his death, rather than
Paul.
abolishing it.
Paul, what are you
What?
reading? Are you reading an AI overview of a Google search to us?
Catechism.
What are you reading?
I'm reading out of the Catechism.
Okay, and what was it again? It said,
Are you Catholic?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and you said it was Jesus fulfilled the
Yeah.
law
He
by
fulfilled the
doing,
law by obeying its demands, embodying its intent, and satisfying its sacrificial requirements.
obeying its demands.
Yes.
Did he stone any disobedient children?
I don't believe he did, no.
What about
Mm-hmm.
adulterous women? Did he do that? Did he stone any of them?
Nope.
Those are commands, right?
Those are the commands of the Old Covenant, yes.
Then how is he
Mm.
fulfilling them if he's not doing them?
How is he fulfilling it? By not enforcing those laws?
If he's not doing them, if he's not
Man,
participating, how is he
that's
fulfilling?
that's a good question. I suppose. I mean, I can't tell you. This isn't a question I prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know is a perfectly acceptable answer. It's actually
Mm-hmm.
probably my favorite.
I don't know that. I can tell you that he came to change the law. He desired justice and mercy more than adherence to the old Mosaic laws. I'll tell you
What did
that.
he say about those who uh, uh,
Oh,
least teach, or was it about teaching?
it was that
Those
those who.
who
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
yeah, I tell you, anyone who tells you to follow the least of these laws will be considered the least in heaven.
So if you're not teaching the law, then you're not, and it's all of the laws he's referencing. Then
Yes, because the beginning of that verse goes back to the whole entire.
Well, look,
Do not because I come to abolish the law or the prophets. I did not come to abolish, but to fulfill. That not one letter, not one stroke of the letter, shall be done away with until heaven and earth have passed on.
I
so
can
this
tell
is
you
the
that.
same verse then.
Yeah, I can only tell you that what he came to do was to give us a new way to be able to access and spend eternity with our Creator.
How do
Now,
you
why
know?
he didn't stone children,
Mhm.
why he didn't, do those things, I can't tell you. The only thing I can tell you is that there was an old covenant and agreement, and then he came as the new covenant and agreement with a very specific instructions on how to relate to God so that you can spend eternity in heaven.
And you believe that this is true because why? Like, why do you believe the New Testament is true?
Um, because why do I believe that's true of the New Testament? Well, first of all, I believe in a higher power.
Mhm.
And I believe that the New Testament is true through personal experience.
Hmm.
But also there are a couple of why do I believe what's in the Bible? There was a great movie that I saw about
Mhm.
Lee Strobel that went through quite a few different things.
Fascinating.
Um,
So I'm not sure how that answers anything, but why do you believe the story of Jesus to be true? Like you've referenced what he said, but
yeah.
how do you know these words are his, or that he was even who it says he was?
Um, like I said, a lot of different reasons. One, it's something very personal that I feel that through discernment and prayer that I believe. You're asking me why do I believe that the New Testament is accurate? Um, I believe because it's a book that has remained that's remained, and I know I'm going to say unchanged, and you guys are going to start talking about different translations and things. But it's a book that people died for. All of the apostles were martyred, except for John.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I would
for
love
this
to.
belief.
Have you heard about other religions where people unalive for their belief?
Sure.
So what convinces you that it's more likely that this Christian religion is true because somebody unalived for their belief rather than another religion where somebody unalived for their belief?
So I believe one in a higher power. I believe that Jesus was the Son of God because of what he did while he was on this earth. What's continued to be done, and I believe that the scriptures are true because of one. They're going all the way back to the first century, second century, have remained unchanged. Yeah.
I don't think you're really answering my question though,
He's
or,
not.
unless you're
He's
saying,
got a
are you
prepared kind
saying,
of testimonial.
are you saying, Paul, that it's not really because people have unalived for the belief that you believe? It's other reasons why you believe?
Well, so going back, if you're going to believe the New Testament, you have to believe that there is a God. I believe there is a God. If I'm going to believe that what is in the New Testament is true, I believe it's true from what's in it, the knowledge that's in it, but also because why? Because it makes sense. It's logical to me.
So it's logical to you. Sorry.
Is it logical for the people that Philly just mentioned to give up their lives for their belief?
Is it logical for them to give up for their beliefs? Well, it depends on what those beliefs are.
Not Christianity.
Give me an example. I can't speak to something hypothetical.
Sure.
We brought
Let's
up the
say
Crusades earlier. Do you think that the Muslims unalive for their belief was faulty, or
I do.
I'm sorry to say you do?
I do think that they are mistaken, yes.
So, how is what's the symmetry breaker between them unaliving for their beliefs and the martyrs who unalive for Christianity?
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean by symmetry. Right?
Well, both of them seem to be the same thing. Both people are unaliving for their beliefs. And I'm trying to figure out, how have you decided one is true and one is false?
The content
also, but I want to add into that, if you don't mind. Both of them have a book telling them that the book is telling them the truth.
Okay.
That seems, I don't know, because that seems to be what you pointed to a minute ago, and you have to take into account that there are people that give up their lives for what their book tells them, and the book is telling them the same thing your book is telling you.
I can see your point.
So I'm assuming then it's not because people have unalived for their belief, that makes it true for you?
It's a combination of things. That being part of it, yeah.
What would you say is the most convincing thing for you? What is the most convincing reason that you are a Christian, a Catholic?
Personal discernment, I guess, would be the first one.
Are you ever wrong in your discernment?
I can be, yeah.
Are you open to the possibility that you're wrong about religion?
I know the possibility I could be wrong about certain aspects, but core beliefs, yeah.
It's automatic and unflinching.
Yeah, I'm
terrifying.
curious why you would say that core beliefs there's no possibility.
It's terrifying.
It's absolutely terrifying that you can't question your beliefs, yes, but freely speaking.
Well, I've questioned. Have I questioned? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Why is it that there are aspects of your beliefs that are unquestionable?
Because through discernment and questioning and study and going through CIA, I have been convinced that those things are true. You're saying it's not that I haven't questioned them. I'm not an idiot. It's that I have questioned them and I have found those things to be true.
Nobody's calling you an idiot.
I didn't say anybody was.
Okay. So when you say that you have questioned them, is
Yes.
it not possible? Let me ask that better. Is it possible that in your questioning of those core beliefs, you have missed some things?
You would have to take them one by one. Like, let's say the concept of I believe in one God. Okay. To me, I have questioned that and looked for evidence, and I've looked for truth in that statement, and I found that to be true.
Okay, so that didn't quite address my question. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, you're asking me. I think I understand your question, and I'm saying to you, it depends on which belief you're talking about. And like I said, there are some that I'm very sure on, and there are others that maybe might be open to interpretation. Maybe I'm getting the interpretation incorrect. But there is a core set of beliefs that I believe to be true, unquestionably.
I understand. My question is it not possible that even those unquestionable beliefs, that in questioning those previously, you have missed a crucial component?
Is it possible?
Yes.
I'll answer it this way. All evidence points to these truths, as far as I can tell.
And if evidence that you have not considered is presented to you, would you then question the belief or would you ignore the evidence?
I would question the evidence.
Why would you choose to question? You know what? That's fair. You can question.
Because you're talking about evidence.
You are going with the conclusion first.
You're talking about evidence, and what I'm going to suggest to you is that evidence.
Being interrupted.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Would you, in questioning the evidence, keep an open mind, or would you conclude before questioning the evidence that the evidence must be wrong?
I would evaluate the evidence. I wouldn't make any conclusion before or after. I'm sorry, I would not make any. And we're talking about a hypothetical, so it's very hard. I would listen to what the evidence is and then judge it fairly.
I appreciate that. I think that is a little bit different than what you previously said, that you have beliefs that are unquestionable. Do you think perhaps you're open to questioning some of those beliefs that previously you had said you would never question?
I probably misspoke and said that I wouldn't question them. It's that I can't conceive of anything that would make me question those core beliefs. But
I
we are
greatly
supposed to we
sorry.
are supposed to ask questions. We are supposed to seek understanding.
I
So any you call it evidence, but anything that you would want to bring up for or against, I would listen to and consider. But I would say I can't conceive of anything. For example, the belief in one God.
Sure.
I can't think of anything that would make me question that I already haven't thought about.
Sure. I greatly appreciate the nuance that you have added to your answer. I think that is wise, and I appreciate that. Are you open to considering whether you have examined everything that is worth examining in the question of whether there is one God?
Am I open? Yes. I mean, I am called I am called, as all Catholics are called, to seek greater understanding and greater knowledge. And if there was something there, if there was a question there, yeah, of course I would be open to considering it or exploring it or whatever.
May I ask you, what have you considered in questioning whether or not there is one true God?
Okay, what have I considered in questioning, is there one true God? Yes, I have. I've considered that question. How have I considered it? I guess
Yeah,
I've
in what way
considered it
have
by
you
wondering
questioned
what.
it?
What was
Sorry,
that?
I was just kind of clarifying, in what way have you questioned that?
Yeah.
By 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 wondering about and thinking about what actually, when people say God, what do they mean by God? What do they mean? Um, that's the way that I've considered it.
Mm-hmm. And is
Now, I
there?
will preface that I can never truly know, absolutely as a human being, truly and 100% know the nature of God. It's unknowable to me.
We hadn't asked that, Paul. Yeah, Philly had another follow up though.
No, I didn't know you
And I
didn't
know.
ask it, but I added it anyways.
Right, I
That's my
understand.
that's my
Philly,
prerogative to do it.
sure. Philly's got a follow up, and I know Kat's raising her hand for a question too. So go ahead, Philly.
What have when you say that you considered what people mean when they talk about a God?
Yeah.
What would you say? How would you define your God, your understanding of God?
That's a great question. I'm just trying to think of how to approach it.
You could walk us through.
You give me a second. That's a very deep question.
You could walk us through what your process was in questioning what other people mean when they say there's a God.
Well, whenever I heard that God was a man in the sky that granted wishes, that never sat right with me. So I tried to look a little bit further. And what I found was, and what my belief of what God is, as I can understand him with my limited capacity as man, is that God is existence itself. God's a unified being that is and I got this from something called the Doctrine of Divine Simplicity, that he's not composed of parts, and he doesn't have attributes. He is attributes. So God is love. God is wisdom. God is existence itself. That he is apart from the created world, apart from the created world that we know, of space and time and where we're at right now. So that's what I believe God is.
What convinces you that that is the case?
It's the only thing that made sense to me, because if you have a God that is if God is omnipotent, unchanging, eternal, then he cannot be part of this world, because this world is finite. Things change in this world. There was a beginning. There will be an end. So he, by its very nature, a true God would have to be separate from those things.
Is it possible that you're presupposing that there should be a God, that there must be a God?
The evidence that I've seen, the evidence that I've considered points to that there is a God.
What is that evidence?
Again, I'm going to point to one of the church fathers. Okay. I'm sure you've heard of Aquinas, correct? You've heard of Thomas Aquinas?
Yes.
Have you heard of him?
Yes.
She said yes.
Yes.
I didn't hear that. So he proposed 5 proofs or 5 ways that we can surmise that there is a
Are you saying
creator.
Aquinas was a church father?
He was either a church father or a church doctor, or maybe I'm getting that wrong. But
what does church father mean?
Scholars within the church.
A scholar within the church. So somebody today could be a scholar within the church and be a church father.
I suppose we could get another one, yeah. But these are ones whose contributions to theological thought were so significant and so instrumental to church teaching. They've been.
Sorry, when did Thomas Aquinas live?
I think 1500s, but let me double check that for you real quick. Do you already know, and you're seeing if I know, or?
I'm asking because if he's in the 1500s, as you are saying now, or any later, then how is he a church father? What does it even mean?
It's just a title given to people who have given significant theological contributions to the church. Just a title.
Is it possible that maybe he would be considered more of a theologian?
Yeah, he's definitely a theologian. Yeah, he wrote a book called the Summa Theologica. Oh, and I'm sorry, he's a doctor of the church, not a father of the church.
Do you think it is appropriate to hold a belief so dogmatically that, and you haven't even read the doctrine?
I'm continuing the study, so I can tell you I've been through RCIA. I read 3 passages every week during Mass. I'm halfway through the Gospels, Word on Fire Gospel, and I continue to go along with it. So
every single other person on this panel right now has read the whole book.
Okay.
And none of us hold this dogmatic belief about it. Why do you think it is appropriate to hold a belief so dogmatically to text that you haven't read?
Well, look, if you go to Mass every day for 3 years, you've read about 90% of the Bible.
That's not an answer to the question that I asked you.
Well, you're not cutting me off and not letting me finish.
Are you actually going to answer her question?
Well, again, I'm waiting for the opportunity. We
Pause for like a whole 10 seconds there to see if you were going to go ahead with it.
Why do I think it's appropriate? I don't know. Everything that I've read so far has supported these beliefs. Every bit of study I've done so far has supported these beliefs. Every RCA class I've read, every sermon by Bishop Aaron that I've listened to, every book that I've read by Mike Schmidt.
Sorry, you just listed off a whole bunch of things. Everything by believers who compel people to believe things and has compelled you to believe. You haven't, like, have you studied outside of the things where people are trying to convince you of it and actually looked into, I don't know, evidence for who wrote it or where it comes from, or what it means?
For example?
What you basically just said is I have a super biased source with the bias to confirming what I am saying that I have looked at has confirmed what I'm saying. Like every source that I've looked at that is in the same playing on the same team as me has said that we're gonna win. Right?
Okay.
For example, have you ever considered looking into Hebrew scholarship when it comes to what you would call the Old Testament, rather than the interpretation of church fathers or church theologians?
No, I've never done that, but something that I've done that I've listened to, there's a pastor called Chris Konecki. I think that's how you say his name. He takes on questions from non-believers and answers them. So I guess in a sense, yes.
Yeah. Well, Cliff is an apologist.
Yeah.
And so the question that we're asking you is if you've ever looked outside of the world of apologetics or the world of Christian theology to analyze the book that the foundation of the Bible is the Hebrew text. And so I'm curious if you've ever, like my question was, have you ever asked Hebrew scholars? So that kind of extrapolates from what I was asking, is that if you're just going to have your questions answered inside of the bubble of Christianity, are you really getting objective answers or critical answers?
It's a Hebrew scholars for explanation of the Old Testament. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
No, I have not looked at Hebrew scholars for explanation of the Old Testament beyond maybe conversations that they've had with as part of the panel with past Catholics.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Well, because I feel like the explanations I've gotten are sufficient for my purposes.
You feel like the explanations you've gotten are sufficient for your purposes. And what gives you that explanation? Like, why do you feel like that?
I'm sorry, ask that again.
Why do you feel that way?
Why do I feel what way about what?
Oh my fucking.
It's like,
why do you feel like the
the
explanations that you've gotten are sufficient? Why
Because
do you feel like you don't need to look into it any further?
because the answers that I've gotten to questions that I've had have been sufficient to satisfy my question. Pretty simple.
What you're saying is the answers that I've gotten have confirmed what I wanted them to confirm, so I didn't look any further.
What I'm saying to you is I had a question, I looked for an answer, I got the answer, and I was satisfied with that answer.
Do you think that you have sufficiently, do you think that there is any point in time where you can sufficiently question your beliefs and you're just done? You just don't have to do that anymore?
I'm called to question and to seek greater understanding.
That's not an answer to the question.
What does that mean, to question?
To seek further understanding, to seek deeper understanding.
So, okay. So, does that deeper understanding always have to align with your preconception, or are you open to the possibility that it could contrast?
My preconception, or should it contrast? It's hard to answer that question without a concrete question that you're talking about. I mean, the question that I had, I had a question:
You
is
can't
there
deal in
one God?
hypotheticals, is that what it is?
Is there one God, or are there several gods, or do
Are
gods
hypotheticals
exist?
are hypotheticals just something that you can't engage in, or are you refusing?
I'm not even getting a hypothetical. I'm getting a
No, I have a really good concrete, not hypothetical example for this.
Go ahead.
Okay.
What is sin?
Missing the mark.
Oh, well, never mind then.
What is the mark in
Hebrew.
in a biblical sense? What is the mark?
Obeying God's commandments.
Oh.
The law specifically, correct?
Mm-hmm.
The commandments we were given, yeah.
All of
so when
we've already been over that.
Okay.
He thinks Jesus abolished, well, not abolished, fulfilled.
Yeah, sorry. I had to help make sure that the battery didn't explode again, so I missed part of that.
Oh, cat.
Paul, do you... Go ahead, Philly.
I was noting that as Kat was asking you, about the sufficiency of looking into things, I was reminded of the back and forth, the questions and the answers that we had around whether things were unquestionable or whether you are still able to consider new evidence. And I'm wondering, based on where these questions have gone, if you think that you might be missing out on potential meaningful evidence or questions by only going to people within the religion to seek further knowledge.
If I'll bring it back to something like the belief in one God that sits outside of time and space, that is his attributes and doesn't have attributes. I cannot think of any. So you're saying, well, would you ever consider evidence opposed to that? Sure, I'd listen to what somebody has to say, but I can't think of how anybody would be able to sufficiently give any type of information that would change that. Now, I'm not saying I'm saying that I can't conceive of it. I've been
That's not my question, Paul.
Oh, okay. Go question again.
My question is, do you think you could be missing out by not going to outside sources in seeking further information?
What sources?
Sources outside of apologetics or the Roman Catholic Church.
Okay, but where would I go to for those answers? What sources?
I gave an example.
What was that example?
Like the Hebrew scholars. So when if the New Testament is claiming that Jesus fulfilled prophecies that are in the Hebrew text,
yeah,
do you think that you're going to get better answers by going to these, say, church fathers that you spoke of, who spoke Latin as their primary language, didn't even speak the language of Hebrew? Or are you going to get better answers and understanding about the Hebrew text by asking the Hebrew scholars what was meant in that Hebrew text.
I would think that, so off the top of my head, I would think that the church, through 2,000 years of discernment, probably would have covered those things pretty good. But if I was going to go to the original Hebrew scholars, I would say, which scholars would I go to? Which type of Judaism would I be going to find those answers, and what would those answers, questions, even be? I can't think of a question to ask.
Do you know what confirmation bias means?
I do know what confirmation bias means, yes, but I can't think of a question to ask a Hebrew scholar.
Can you tell me what you think confirmation bias means?
That means you look for things that already support what you already believe.
Does that sound like what you're describing to us right now?
No, it does not. Maybe you have confirmation bias, and you're.
What's the difference? What's the difference between what you're doing and what you just defined as confirmation bias?
You're asking me the question of, would I go to outside sources outside of the Catholic Church? And I'm saying to you, I don't know. I don't even know what that means. What if I went to an outside source of the Hebrew discussions? And I forget what it's called. It's not the Torah. It's something else. But there are hundreds and hundreds of years of debate.
The Talmud.
The Talmud, yeah. Would I go to the Talmud? Well, for what purpose would I go for the Talmud? And why? What question would I have that I would bring to the Talmud that I think I would get better understanding
Well,
from?
here's the thing about the Old Testament is, what language was it written in originally? Can you tell me? What
She
language
asked
was it written
if you know what language it was written in, Paul.
I'm
You're a little
assuming
muffled,
Hebrew.
Cat.
I'm assuming Hebrew.
Yes, it was. Why was it written in Hebrew?
That's the language they spoke, I'm guessing.
Right, it's the language of the Jewish people who wrote the text. So
Yeah.
if you have, if there are any questions or concerns or, just clarity that you might need on any of the Old Testament, wouldn't it make the most sense to ask the people who wrote the text?
I think that in my church, I have 2,000 years of discernment by some of the smartest people who ever lived that asked these questions and went through it. And that knowledge is partly contained in the Catechism.
Hey, Paul.
Quick question: What's
is-
the first line in the in Genesis?
The first line in Genesis.
Yeah, Genesis 1:1.
Why are you asking me?
Just answer the question. What is the first line of Genesis 1:1? Like what does it say?
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
It actually says in the beginning it actually says when God began to create. But
Yeah. In the actual Jewish text, it says when God went to create. It doesn't say in the beginning.
Okay.
It says when God began to create, the earth was formless and void. Are those two different things? Sorry. The point here is that there may be nuance, there may be context, there may be translation errors, there may be things that are missed by not.
And maybe there's not.
Referring to.
Sure. But as we're discussing gathering information and evidence and reasons why it makes sense to be confident in a belief or not, can I share with you, Paul, one of my favorite questions to ask?
Go ahead.
I love to ask people, why do you believe or why do you not believe? I love to be like, if I were to go to a Hebrew scholar and I believed in the messianic prophecies from the Hebrew Bible, true and being represented in the New Testament, I would want to ask that Hebrew scholar, why don't you believe that Jesus is the fulfillment of these messianic prophecies? I would be curious to find out what it is that convinces them otherwise, so that I can consider things that I may not have considered before. I love seeking new information and seeing, does it fit within my paradigms, or does it cause me to make some adjustments in my beliefs? It seems to me like...
That question.
I'm sorry?
I've asked that question to a Jewish person.
And what was the conclusion that you then were able to consider and choose not to be convinced by?
They believe that he's going to be some sort of military or political figure that will restore the nation of Jerusalem, vanquish its enemies, and restore it to glory. And they have their particular beliefs and interpretations of their passages that lead them to that conclusion.
This is what they say, that the reason why they don't believe Jesus fulfilled messianic prophecy.
That was the answer that I got, yeah. But because there's really no unified Jewish source, like there's no Pope, there's no Vatican. Those
hold on.
beliefs vary widely.
I'm trying to wrap my brain around this, and blame it on me because I've been at work for so long now, or whatever. But I'm just not understanding. Are you saying that they think that Jesus was supposed to be this?
Their Messiah was supposed to be that, yeah.
So the question wasn't about what was the Messiah supposed to be.
Yeah, she just said that she likes to gather knowledge and ask questions, and one of the ones that she likes to ask is, why do you or do you not believe? And she goes and asks questions, and or why do you not or not believe that in this particular thing? And I said, I've asked the question of why Jewish people do not believe that Jesus was the Messiah. So just to catch you up, that was the line.
Do you know why there's no unified belief?
I don't really care.
Does anybody else have questions for this guest? Like, do
Nope.
we really think we're going to get anything else? Philly, go ahead.
I definitely have more questions for you, Paul, but I'm wondering if we have perhaps reached the limit of what is productive today. But I would be open to further conversation with you at some point if you would want that.
I'm not forcing you guys to talk to me. I'm not here to try and change.
Great. So I appreciate you being up here, Paul. I hope that you learn how to question your beliefs one day beyond the narrow scope of whatever the Catholic Church approves for you to read. If anybody has a belief in a God or God's higher power or anything like that, and you're actually capable of questioning your beliefs, go ahead and request on up. I have no idea why Paul requested up in the first place.
I have a feeling why. I know why he did.
I woke up to a lot of questions. I immediately heard several things that I had tons of questions for. So I think I think I'm going to go ahead and step on down. If you want to give me one of those voodoo chickens, Thrayle.
Sure thing.
Yes, everlasting. Yes. All right, it's
sorry.
catching on. It's catching on.
He made Cat's Day with that one. We can move past our egos.
Yeah, that's what I was reading.
We all have egos, apparently, that need moving past, but Paul...
I'm sorry. I'm not...
Absolute unquestioning certitude.
Paul, we don't normally talk about our own beliefs to believers, but if you're still there, I'm going to let you know. I am an atheist. I'm not just a kind of agnostic atheist. I'm an atheist that believes no gods exist, and my position is still less egotistical than yours. And that just was like, what the
Are you playing mine
Remember
smaller than yours with Paul?
the last question that I asked you and what your answer was? And you're gonna say the winner egotistical?
You got really muffled, Cat.
Yeah,
I think you
I'm
put
not
your phone
feeling
in
it.
your pocket. Or the headphones are backwards. I bet they're backwards.
Thrayle, I swear to God.
Were they backwards?
No, that
Which god are you swearing to, Cat?
the Bat Goddess, obviously.
Which aspect?
I, look, I have been awake all night dealing with these people and trying to make sure that my power doesn't explode. So I learned how to solder tonight in the middle of questioning that fucking whichever insufferable one it was.
Oh.
That's true.
I don't know which aspect. Point is, Paul, the fact that you just said that we need to get over our egos after I asked you about why, if you knew why, the Jewish people didn't have a unified belief, and your answer was, I don't really care, is fucking, the irony there is grand.
And we didn't say that you have not questioned your beliefs. The concern that at least I have would be, are you willing to continue to view relevant information that might cause you to continue to question?
I would argue that if your questioning of your beliefs is strictly about minor issues within the belief itself, and not whether or not the belief is true or not, you aren't questioning your beliefs.
And if you choose not to further question what you believe, you can stand on that. You can say that I'm not willing to question certain things. But if you are going to say that you are willing to take in new information, but then when something comes up in conversation, you say you don't care at all, it feels very disingenuous. And maybe it was just a miscommunication, but it didn't feel like there was. I'll stop talking. I'm sorry.
No, Philly, you were being so much more. It's a good thing Philly had a good
Yeah.
full night's sleep and is the ability to be charitable.
Hammy, who clocked out at almost 12 hours of work, is not very charitable right now. That was some good news I was going to tell you, Thrayle. I've officially off the clock now, and I'm about to leave.
Congratulations, Hammy.
I'm very happy for you, Hemi. Do you need me to drop you down?
No, I'm good for now.
I gotcha.
Kind of just sitting in my truck for a minute to just kind of decompress.
I don't
Or
know.
actually,
Can you question whether or not the uncharitable folks should be kicked like voodoo chickens?
The uncharitable folk.
Only what they said themselves.
how dare you use my own words against me?
No, it's so uncharitable of me.
By that logic, you should be kicked as well.
Yes.
I can't. Look, Philly made my night last night. I can't even. If Philly says it, then so be it.
sorry, Kat. I could not make out those words.
Oh, perfect. Hold on.
Can I? Can I pose a question around what we're doing here?
You're going to question the process? Go for it.
I have noticed this. I suspect this in my observations. Have any of you noticed the same thing? That some people are willing to question until they start to feel like they're on their back foot. They start to feel defensive. And then the ability to have the openness, the unguardedness to have the questioning conversation shuts down.
I noticed that from time to time. I don't think that happened with the previous guest.
Sure, that's
But
okay.
yeah,
I just wonder if that's the case, and we want people to be able to question their beliefs, do we have a responsibility to help people from feeling defensive?
yeah. Well, to a degree. Some people do question better from a defensive posture, but I agree with you that we shouldn't force people to be defensive when they are questioning. And if we recognize that coming, if we see the defensiveness begin, we should definitely put a halt to the questioning and find a way to postpone until they're ready to resume.
Go ahead, Kat.
If I can see that, or if I pick up on that they are either getting defensive or feeling like ganged up on or backed into a corner, even though that's not what we're trying to do, right? But if I can see that and I can see it, like if I can see a way to save it, the way I try to save it is usually by giving them something, meaning showing some sort of vulnerability myself or putting myself in a more vulnerable position so they don't feel like the only one that is. Can't ask for them to do it if I'm not willing to do it too.
Yes, I totally hear that, Kat. I would love. Go ahead, Hammy.
No, go ahead.
If you have an answer, Hammy, I'd love to hear it.
I've noticed that sometimes some people, like, they do come in automatically defensive. And it could be because the first question feels like an attack, or they're just so used to debate spaces in general that they feel like they need to defend the second they get asked a question. And with those people, I've noticed that, like, whenever you sit there and reaffirm to them that this is not debate space, that we just are asking questions about people's beliefs, that they tend to relax. But whenever you're in the middle of questioning and they start to get into that defensive position, I kind of agree with a little bit of what Kat said, but not to the extent of, like, showing vulnerability. Like, I tend to give them just, like, a bit of my beliefs. So that way, that, not necessarily that I'm vulnerable, but enough to where it gets them to start trying to ask questions about it. So that way we can hopefully get back to a place of asking them questions.
I hear you. I have never considered, Thrayle, that somebody can question better when they are defensive.
I tend to answer better when I'm defensive.
You do, right?
Was after I said something like way meaner than I usually say to any guests to him.
Huh.
But he like really received it well and sat with it for a moment and questioned and like, you know, we got somewhere.
Huh. Do you find that it's certain personalities, or is there some sort of
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to identify it as like a personality, but it seems evident in their conversational style, certain
conversational style?
certain aggression. Maybe
There is aggression?
Yeah, there
Some
might
people-
be a certain aggression. It's not quite combative.
I think
but
some people need to be
defensive from the
challenged.
start.
Some people need to be challenged and some people need to be like walked through, like, you know, does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
Different people respond to different approaches.
Yeah, like
Guten Tag.
Good
Hi, Brad.
morning.
he's gone.
Oh,
He was awful though. Thanks though.
what happened?
Oh,
I was trying to get him an actual Hebrew scholar
Oh,
to talk to.
oh, but he didn't care. He said, "Why would I care?" Is what he said.
Yeah, he did that. And that was about the time that was over. Yeah.
And then he
But
hoped
it's-
that we would all get
Good
past
morning,
our
Ralph.
egos.
you hoped what? Good morning, cat.
He said that he hoped we would get past our egos after he said he didn't care what any Hebrew scholars would say about the Old Testament.
But I'm fully consumed in my ego.
No, don't mischaracterize him. He was not terribly open, but what he said was that he didn't care to know why there was no unified Jewish voice. He didn't say that he would not listen to Hebrew scholars.
It was such a good. I was really hoping to give him the answer that I had to that, and it was such a good answer, and he didn't care. But,
I also found it very interesting that there's one part in the conversation where he was talking about the attributes of a god with who's beyond time and blah blah blah, that has no. Then ends it with that has no attributes.
that was a fun one.
That one threw me for a second.
Philly, I think that you should ask Rav about like what we were just talking about too, though. I think that Rav is a great person to ask about this because he does have beliefs, and sometimes we have, you know, we've had some intense questioning.
We were just discussing how different people respond to different approaches better, and my suspicion was that people generally respond better and are able to question their beliefs when they're not feeling defensive, when they're not feeling like they're on the back foot. But there has been some discussion about how some people need a bit of that challenge, not necessarily combative, but a little bit a different level of I don't know, aggression sounds too harsh, but a different way of communicating. Do you have opinions, Rav, on this topic? What is the best way to get people to question their beliefs?
Do I have opinions?
Mm.
I always have opinions. Yeah, personally, I think that we've benefited, this group has benefited the most from this calling in thing that I think we're all pretty decent at. Um, and that this is the thing I've been struggling with. Excuse me. And because it is about questioning their beliefs. And I think in order to question somebody's belief, we have to first understand their belief. And so I think, like, I wonder if we came from a place of understanding, even if it's the most bizarre out there, like almost like if we came from a place of an ethnographer, but I'm not sure that that would be the most exciting. Excuse me, hold on, I clear my throat. I'm not sure that that would be the most exciting, but I'm not exactly sure that it's meant to be exciting, and yet I think there is an element that is meant to be entertaining. And so that's where I'm in the flux of like, if I'm questioning, hopefully, like, I think it works best when I try to understand actually where they're coming from. The problem is most of the time we know exactly where they're coming from because we've seen it and heard it a million times because it's not actually their beliefs. It's just something else that they're regurgitating. Um, yeah, I don't know if that's helpful. I mean, maybe it's like, okay, so you said all these things. What do you actually believe? What's the actual belief there?
I need to. Okay, there's a lot there that I want to interact with, Raph. But the most pressing point that I want to ask you about is this idea of what does a belief mean to you if somebody just regurgitating something is not a belief ever?
So, do you know GT?
Yes.
So when we were doing like the political stuff before the last election, GT pointed out that really somewhere only between 5 and 15% of people are actually capable of critical thought, and that it's not. It's actually it's like an astonishingly low number of people. I imagine it's in flux on certain things and so on. Um, so I guess like whatever we can get might actually be like it might seem like a very low bar.
I need to look into this. Did GT say anything about the ability to learn critical thinking?
I didn't ask that. We can ask her.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason I asked Billy to ask you that was because I've noticed that not every time, but there have been times where you have done like where we have been questioning you, and you have done better being challenged than like just like skipping through it, like us, like
Hmm.
just like walking through it. And so that was like the thing that Philly hadn't really like considered. That was some people are going to do better under like the little bit of like challenge or
Are we saying though, Kat?
pushback.
Are we saying that? Because in my mind, it's the defensiveness. Once somebody gets defensive, I don't see the ability to question showing up as much, if at all.
But
But
I think you can.
I can be challenged and still not feel defensive, like still not feel like it's my identity under attack. Like I can experience somebody challenging my point of view without being on the defensive. Are those mutually exclusive?
I
So
think you can name
when
that.
I'm no, you make I have
Does it look
bars. Go
like
ahead.
Cat's muted for anybody else?
Cat's got red bars.
Oh, am I back?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
I think that when and this is my communication error. When I'm saying challenge, I mean like give it a little push. Like they're not quite getting there, or they're not engaging, or not listening, or so there's some breakdown in understanding. So you have to give it a little bit more. And the defensive, not like full in defense, but you can hear the defensive starting to build. Some people, like right there before it's like full on defensiveness. This is where I like have seen and got like, this is the perfect threshold that you can get Robin sometimes, is like you can almost hear it starting, and you ask the right question and it like clicks. But sometimes you have to push them a little farther than maybe you would like to.
I think the other difference is like I go to the gym because I know I want to tear my muscles.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm walking in, like if I'm going to be questioned, I mean, I guess sometimes it's a blind side, um, but I've already developed the desire and want. Oh shit, my headphones. Oh no.
I think that's a good point too, though. I go to the
Oh no.
beach and swim in the
My
ocean.
headphones are gone. Hold on a second.
Okay. I go to the beach and swim in the ocean because I want to feel like worn down afterwards, because I want that. It feels good. And sometimes I need one of you guys to challenge me, to push me a little bit farther than I might have been comfortable with to get to the place I need to go. So it's not like the full-on under attack feeling, but more of a like pushed a little outside the comfort zone.
The other thing I was thinking was like, when, shoot, sorry, one second. Sorry about that. The other thing I was thinking, like, when somebody gets defensive, it's because they're telling them, or actually anything, like any interaction that I'm having, I am immediately telling myself a story about what's happening. And it's a subconscious story most of the time. And so, like, if somebody, like, let's say, you know, like, this is like, somebody says, like, the Torah is garbage. And, like, I immediately have to tell myself, like, I am telling myself a story about what I just heard. And then if I can take a moment to like put a distance between when I respond and what I've just heard, and like analyze all the things. I mean, that's the problem, is that taking the moment to like figure out what the story I'm telling myself. Um, you know, and that determines how I respond. And I think when people get defensive, or when I get defensive, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's because I am not aware of the story that I'm telling myself, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for engaging in this topic with me. I do have to drop if somebody will kick me.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, I got you, Philly. Thank you for asking that question. It was great. What do we have here? Hey, Thrayle, can I take a guest? Okay. Well, we're gonna take a guess, Thrayle, if they're not a ghost. I think they're a ghost, so we're not actually gonna take a guess, but we tried. Oh, dude, the whales are great. Also, the questioner is up, so if you have been questioned before. Oh, shit. Hi.
Hi.
That's not the guest I accepted. I wasn't expecting it. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
36.
And do you have a belief in a god, God's higher power, or anything like that?
Yeah.
Which one?
The one that's in this picture right here. In the flesh.
Which one is that? And also, do you have a TV on or something in the background? There's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of noisy.
You have birds in the background? Kind of noisy.
Yeah, I guess it is birds now because the sun's coming up, but I can't.
Wow.
I can't control the wildlife.
No,
You can
no,
control
no.
the TV.
Absolutely not. I was just asking. Beautiful. I wouldn't want you to turn that down.
Which god is it?
Oh, I just muted it. Hold on a second.
No, I said which god.
Yeah, I know. I muted it and then it unmuted. So there we go. Which god is it? Well, as I understand it, it's been told. I've been told that he's the same God from the Bible. Like he's in the flesh, but he's like Jesus reincarnated. That was Jesus reincarnated.
So the God of the Bible is the God you believe in.
Yeah.
And have you read the Bible?
I haven't read it all. I mean, to be honest, I haven't really read much of it, as in like taking the book and reading it from the book. But I mean, then again, that's equivalent to like just hearing the stories and stuff like that.
So where do you get your belief from? Like, where do you get the knowledge of this God if you haven't read the book?
Well, because God's within us all, and I've heard enough and put it together. And also, I believe that we're born with the sense of God, and it doesn't seem strange to us. It doesn't.
What do you mean, born with the sense of God?
Like we by default already have by default we already like know that God exists, but we don't question it. We just know it, or like we just assume.
You think everybody has that, or is born like that?
I think so, but I can only go on what I was like at the age, but then again, I was born into what is called the Christ family, and well, I wasn't really born into it. I was born of it, as in my dad met this guy, Lightning Amen, and years later, my mom would end up joining the group, and then I was born, and my dad died when I was 1. He got hit by a car. He was on a motorcycle, and but he was really good friends with Amen, Lightning Amen. And my mom said, "Are you ready to meet God today? Like you're gonna meet God today." I was like, it was like I didn't think that it was that weird. Like it was like I was like, what? Like I knew what she meant right away. Like, what? I'm gonna meet God? Like you didn't have to explain it to me really. Like it wasn't like, who's God? What's God?
So you think that humans are born with this innate sense of God? But
Can I?
Well, yeah, please.
Are you saying that you were living with a group of people that were sort of having God beliefs along with you?
No. Well, my mom and by the time I was born, she wasn't really after my dad died. She wasn't really but before that, they lived together, walked around in white robes, bare feet, sometimes maybe sandals. They would just travel around 2 by 2 around by hitchhiking without even really, except they didn't like stick their thumb out. They would just like sit there and wait, and somebody would just end up pulling over, and that's where they would just go with whoever that was, and talk about God. And
are you still in that group now?
No, I was never really like. Well, I was in it. I mean, in a way, I was big part of it, like in it, as because like I was of all my brothers and sisters, I'm the one who like really took it to heart and like the most. And
But you grew up like you're saying.
I
You
was
said
being,
that both of your parents were in it
yeah, my
whenever
mom
you were
taught
like
me.
born and stuff.
Yeah, I've been like my mom. I have friends that were friends with my mom who live in the town I live in now, still all these years later. And everything I know about Amen came from my mom, from meeting Amen when she introduced me to him, and then just like everything that I remember as a kid before she passed away, and then let's see, and just sort of like that being part of like my awareness of where I came from and everything, and just being told about it.
So how do you know that it's how do you know then that it's the God of the Bible that you're talking about? Like, is it just because somebody in this group told you? Like, I guess what I heard Kat asking and what I'm curious about is like you're okay, you believe in this God that you're told is the God of the Bible, but you haven't read the God of the Bible. You haven't read the Bible in order to know that it's the God of the Bible and that you're trusting the information that's coming to you. Does it matter if it's the God of the Bible or not? Does,
Yeah, I think it matters, but it's more than what you're saying. I haven't given you all the information. I didn't really know that for a long time, but I kind of as until when I got older, that's when questioning it kind of came, and I didn't really question it too much from, as you can imagine, from a beginner's point of view. You just kind of like, oh, okay, like, oh, that's what you like kind of come from, or you're like forged from it. So, um, I mean, naturally, I wasn't really questioning it too much. I was just like, okay, like, wow, that makes sense. Like, it just kind of fit. And then, and then, if you're me, you can imagine that, if why wouldn't I think that that was the God of the Bible? You know what I mean? Like the real, the real God Himself in the flesh. Like, why would, if being me, like, wouldn't shouldn't I be go to assume that that would be the
Would you
real
like to
God?
hear? Would you like to hear what it sounds like from an outside perspective?
Well, not yet. Hold on. Um,
Well,
well,
the thing is,
that,
I think that this will help with understanding
well,
where we're coming from when we're asking these questions.
since you asked, I'll hear it. But let me get through a few more things.
Well, hang on. No,
I,
I would like to hear what Hammy has to say. Let's keep moving forward.
Okay.
so, from my understanding of the way it sounds like, is that you had people who believed in God as parents, even if your mother like adopted into it. Regardless, they both believed whenever you were a child. You grew up around the talk and the language of this, and so whenever your mom says, "Hey, do you want to go meet God today?" you already had an understanding on what this stuff was because
No, I
they
didn't.
constantly talked about these
Well,
things.
maybe, but I don't remember all that. I just remember. I mean, that might be true, but I don't know. I can't really say one way or the other. Maybe that's not it. Maybe.
sounds like you were surrounded by it. It sounds like your beliefs were influenced by this. The
Yeah,
information that you were receiving was about this. Like the thoughts that you were given was about this, and maybe even some of the emotional attachment. Uh, you know,
could explain it, or it could just be that I would have that I would have had it anyway. The way I remember it is that I just already like when that moment came and she said you're gonna meet God today and we're gonna go see God today. I I remember just like it just being like if somebody didn't know that they weren't supposed to know that, then it wouldn't be much of a surprise, like except for like you're super like excited for the fact that you get to go see God today. You're gonna go meet
So
God.
I have a 3-year-old niece um, who is about to turn 4, who doesn't know like she doesn't even know how to say like certain words properly, right? But both my sister and my brother-in-law are Christian. They believe in God, they believe in Jesus Christ, all that stuff. And so she's been around that enough to where even at the age of 3, when she doesn't know certain words well enough, can still sit there and say, "Oh, Mama, that's Jesus," when she sees a picture of what's supposed to be Jesus.
See? So it's like that's my point. If it was anything else, she probably wouldn't have caught her attention, or probably wouldn't have it wouldn't have been remarkable enough to her. It wouldn't have been mentioned. She wouldn't have like recognized it as something to like, oh, look at that. That's
Yeah, but
this. That's
yeah,
that.
but you know what? My son, when he was that age, was recognizing things like, "Oh, that's Darth Vader."
Well, that's kind of the same thing in a way. Like that's sort of a significant character and not as significant as God, but like still, it's like it's within the concept. It's within the blueprint, so to speak.
Well, it's in the blueprint because it was added to the blueprint by it being in our home and being exposed to it at our home. Let me ask you, was there like a person that was sort of
Saying yeah,
central to this group that was kind of like the leader of your group?
I'm sorry. Can you not repeat that? I didn't. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
talking.
Was there a person? You said there was a guy named Lightning Amen.
Yeah,
Yeah, was he like sort of like the leader of this group?
yeah.
Yeah. How many people were in this group?
There. Oh, I don't even know for sure, but quite a few. It depends on what time around when, but probably at its peak. Back in the day, I don't know, I couldn't tell you, but a lot, not a lot, but I would say at least a few hundred or maybe a couple hundred.
And did you all live together?
I wasn't by the time I was born, my mom wasn't still living within, but yeah, they did. Well, you know, I'm not really sure because they either lived together or they just, I think they did live together, but they would just travel around two by two and walk around and just talk about not no killing, no sex, and no materialism,
Hmm.
and are the three keys to
Isn't the organization that you've been talking about involved in a murder investigation?
Oh yeah, how did you know that? How
Because
are
you
you?
said the name of it and the name of the leader.
Oh, and you looked it up? Yeah, well, there was some kind of a conspiracy, but it's like propaganda the way I see it. It's like there's people that would slander Jesus and stuff and like say like he's this terrible person and they just like it was just it wasn't his character at all. I don't know. It seems kind of significant to me that they would go so far as to do that because who he was, like trying to badmouth him or trying to slander him, you know, if that makes sense.
Well, at least there's no wine to poison, you know?
There's no wine to poison. I'm not sure what that
Yeah,
means.
look, I think when people are in groups like this, it is not uncommon to have factions and subversiveness. And look, people's beliefs are being controlled, their information is
So are
being
you gonna
controlled,
go? Are you leaning with
their
that? Are you going
thoughts.
that way? Because how else could it possibly have been, though? Because if you just like that's one side and there's the other side, so why are you going with that side though?
Well,
With that
because
way,
yeah, because I think it's important that we realize like
but that
how
doesn't
powerful the human brain is.
doesn't
And
confirm it or deny it either way, though. It's no different than
I'm not, you're not listening to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the human brain is a powerful thing and a very fickle thing at the same time. And when we have people that we trust and we depend on telling us certain things, it influences our beliefs and our
what were they
information and
supposed
our
to tell me?
thoughts and our emotions
If it
to the
was
point
true,
where,
though.
our ability to question things it ultimately becomes severely limited.
If it was true, what were they supposed to be telling me?
Well, look, I think that
Are you familiar with cults?
Me? Yeah, I know a little bit about them. Why? Cult isn't necessarily a bad thing. The literal definition for it is just like an organization. A cult could be a good thing. It just gets a bad rap.
So,
because
I'm,
there's a
I'm,
lot of
one
bad
and
ones
only
out
thing
there.
I'm gonna say, no, one and only thing I'm gonna say before I go on mute for a while is that in a situation where there is a religious leader, and like you said, there's two sides to every story, but whenever one side is religious leader did this and that, and the other side is it must be conspiracy to this religious leader. 9 times out of 10,
Sorry,
this religious leader did.
can you go back and I don't know, from like 5, 6, or can you just start all over again? Because it was it was kind of hard.
Yeah, not a problem. I said that the one and only thing I'm going to say before I go on mute for a while is that in a situation where there's a religious leader and there's two sides to every story, but one side is saying religious leader did something bad, and the other side is it must be conspiracy theory against the religious leader. 9 times out of 10, it's religious leader did something bad.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, exactly. And this is what I'm glad you said that, because I'm suggesting that this is the 10th time when it wasn't when
What reason
It
do you have
usually
to
is the
Yeah,
10th
believe
time.
that this
because
person named
I
Lightning is Jesus?
because his, if you want to call it a cult, stood out from all the other ones that were going on at the same time in those days.
In the 1960s.
Yeah, from like the 60s, it might have been, yeah, it might have been like late 60s, I think, is when it started. I'm not sure. 70s, it might have, was it probably more like early 70s was
In what
when my
way did
dad
his
met.
cult stand out from the other cults?
Well, all the other cults, none of them really, their message wasn't about like no killing, meaning don't eat meat, like it's bad. And that's why he started it. It wasn't like he was like competing with other cults or anything. He's like I see him as like the diamond in the rough. Like
What? I'm
he,
sorry,
he
I'm still not hearing what it is that actually made his cult stand out. Was it the bed
because
sheets or the
because
acceptance of
his message
illicit substances?
his where he was coming from, and okay, so his message was no, first of all, no killing, then no sex, and no materialism, because as on earth as it is in heaven means that you don't eat animals, you don't have sex, and you don't believe in materialism, meaning money, uh possessions,
I'm not
uh
hearing what made his
things like
cult
that.
If
stand
there's
out.
no sex, how
His
did
was
you come to
his
be?
That was my
well,
question. That's why I'm muted.
okay, what they mean by no sex is you're not just like going around like trying to hook up with women and just like, like trying to get laid and stuff like that. Like when it's like meant to be, or like, because we wouldn't be here in the first place. It's and on one way it's different than the other way. Like sex mean it say like they were married. Like he
I
kind of
get it.
married.
I get it. There's people who are intending to have children, and there's people who are having sex for pleasure. Did the leader have any children?
I don't believe he did, and I'm not really sure, but I don't know that he ever had. I mean, I'm not saying he never had sex. I'm just saying that I don't know that he did from the time, from whatever, at a time at a time. I don't know that he was about that. I think maybe he had a girlfriend. I don't know what, but as far as I know it, I don't think he did care, or not care, but he didn't have sex with her as far as I know, but that might not be true. I don't know.
What the fuck?
I think he did have a someone who was like his girlfriend or wife or something of the group. But did they have sex? I don't know. I don't think so. But the way I gather it, he probably wouldn't have been. But he didn't really need to be. He he taught that that's just like that's a distraction from God, and it takes away from
Go
God
ahead and stop
existing.
talking for me for just a moment. Just stop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everything all right?
I said stop. Try letting the silence just
Okay.
do what it does.
Okay.
Do you leave any room for the possibility that you could be wrong?
No,
Why
because
not?
why would I? Why you being me? Why would you go? Nope, all that was bullshit. And well,
That's
maybe
not what
not,
I
but
said.
okay. Let me rephrase that. All that could have been wrong, and it could have been right, but it could have been wrong. And why would you take it that way instead of taking it like that's what I was experiencing, that's what I was seeing, that's what was going on?
I do it all the time with my position. I fully admit that I can be wrong.
Okay, but I can't be wrong because it's where I come from, and I've seen plenty of things that are not like that defy logic already. So that would that plus that together is like telling me that I should, being me from my point of view, I should take all that to heart and believe it because that's what they were claiming, and so much so that they were willing to go on the road barefoot and just travel around the country all over the place with no money and
Can you
nothing.
question? Can
And
you question your beliefs?
and hold on, I'm not done yet. Um, and
Well, this
and
is this
talk
this question. The
and
answer
let
to
me
this question
I'm
is
not
actually
done.
quite
Let me finish what I'm
important.
saying and then I'll answer your
No.
question. Do I
Horn,
interrupt you?
stop. Answer his question.
I don't even know what his question is. Why can't
Yeah,
I
it's on
talk?
the screen. It's the reason you would have requested up. Can you question
Oh
your
yeah, I
beliefs?
can and I have, but
What does
that's
that
what
mean?
led me to this conclusion. That mean at this point I'm not going to because I've already done that. What
At
does it
this
mean?
point, you're not going to question your beliefs. Thank you
No,
for
because I
answering the
already did
question.
that.
Don't know why you would request up on my panel at all. If you're incapable of questioning your beliefs, why waste our time?
To be fair, it was question the questioner when you came up, but
He was requesting before that.
oh, okay. Yeah. Also, that's way above our
Chew
pay
your
grade.
food before you talk to us.
Oh, sorry.
Table manners, Ralph.
I'm so sorry. Yep, I'm so sorry. I think that that was an impossibility anyway because literally they were in a cult, so it's just not like that's way beyond our
Right.
capabilities.
I've spoken to people who have been in cults and people who are in what we might consider cults, and some of them can question. I've heard questioning happen, and I've known people who are clear of cults that they were raised in. We have at least one regular viewer who grew up in a Christian cult, and is no longer a part of that. So I think it's possible. He's just, yeah, he's in the one with bed sheets and, bed sheets as clothing. I should clarify, everybody can have bed sheets. They wear bed sheets as clothes, and
Have a schmurder charge
well,
or allegation?
there's an investigation that the cult is part of a missing child, and the parents were unalived.
Hey, innocent proven until proven guilty, right?
Mm-hmm. There's the involvement of the cult in that is questionable, but still under investigation, as far as I could tell. But the real question is why he can't question it. And I don't feel like he was able to respond to any of our questions well enough to get to that.
Morgan is giving you a not so gentle reminder about what the board says.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Don't ask me.
Hello, Matt Maroney. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS? Did you mean to request up, Matt? Oh, still not loaded in. My mistake.
This live may contain AI generated content.
It may. I can actually control that. I can make that go bye-bye. I think I can, anyways. Well, maybe not. Maybe I can only do it once. Been able to turn it off before. Hello, Jack. Can I get your age for TikTok? Don't worry, Jack. You don't have to worry about being around again. That's just boring.
What was his last name? Mehoff?
No. Hello, CIA. Can I get your age for TikTok?
Hello. Yeah, 28.
And do you have a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that?
Oh, I like that you're whispering at me. Makes me feel very.
Not whispering at you. Do you have a belief in a god or God's higher power
I'm a
or anything
Christian
like
person.
that? And have you read your Bible from beginning to end?
No. Nobody does that.
Fascinating. I know at least.
It's a long book. It's a big book, and
Yep.
you know, I
Sure is.
never read much anyway. You know, so I was never big on books.
I see. Does it matter to you if the Bible is true or not?
Does it matter to me if the Bible is true or not? Well, if the Bible is true or not, that's a loaded question.
I'm just asking if it matters if it's true to your belief.
So, which parts of it? I mean, the Bible says a lot of things.
How do you know what the Bible says?
Right, if you haven't read it.
Because I've read some of it, and so
What
you
parts
can
of it have you read?
turn to one page and it says one thing, and you can turn to another page and
Okay,
it says another thing.
CIA. Do you believe that the stories from the Bible, like the 6-day creation and Adam and Eve, are true?
6-day creation of Adam and Eve.
Those are
I believe that all the miracles in the New Testament that Jesus did is true.
okay. So you're not going to answer my questions at all. Why did
Okay,
you
I'm
request
going to
up?
say yes to your question.
Why did you request up?
I didn't request. Oh, yes, I did request, didn't I? Can you request? I don't know.
When you figure it out, you can request back up.
It's so funny. Central Intelligence Agency.
I didn't detect much of any of those three things.
Probably some agency, to be fair.
And he didn't even know he requested up.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, you're right. Fair enough. I was trying to be charitable. So Philly didn't kick me out of the room.
Central might have been. It was a single. I don't know. Maybe not. I could have spoken to many different identities there. I have no idea.
Is Morgan in the request box? Because I think they said they're going to have an aneurysm.
Morgan is
No,
not
I
in
don't
the
know what
request
you're
box.
looking.
Okay.
Yeah. I understand though that Catholic earlier was giving me I wasn't planning on being back in the box, but then that guy was mansplaining Philly, and I was getting fucking mad.
Yeah.
I don't like it when people mansplain Philly. I don't like it when people mansplain any of us, but I really don't like it when they mansplain Philly.
It's an unfortunate thing that some people just can't get past, apparently.
With the mansplaining?
Mm-hmm.
One time I was brainstorming. Rob and I were talking about doing a show, and I was like brainstorming names, and I was having ChatGPT help me brainstorm names. And one of the things it came up with was rabbi splaining, and I thought that was hilarious. And I didn't think he would think it was as funny as I thought it was, but I thought it was really funny.
Rabbi splaining.
Wait, what happened?
What I do?
I said one time me and Rob were talking about doing a show, and I said I was like talking to ChatGPT and brainstorming names, and it one of the things it gave me was rabbi splaining, and I thought that was fucking hilarious. And I don't think you thought it was as funny as I did, but I thought it was really fucking funny. Like made funnier by the fact that you are a man and I am a woman. Fucking so funny, dude.
Well, I was told that I was an abusive person yesterday in another live. So.
Really?
That's a weird thing for somebody to say.
Especially when the comment that was made was King David, Jesus sat on the throne of David because King David is in the Bible, or the throne of David is mentioned in the Bible, and so is Jesus. And I said, mentioned together? And she goes, yes. And I said, can you show me where? And then she called me I said it a little more, the conversation elevated from there, but like, where? Anyway, it was,
How dare you have her cite her source?
Has been made aware to me that there's something called hammy-splaining.
There definitely is, yeah.
What is this hammy-splaining?
I think you know.
I don't think I know. What is this hammy-splaining?
Don't gaslight me, honey.
Hammy-splain?
I've been getting gaslit by you and Thrayle all night.
good thing it's the morning now.
I don't know what this hammy-splaining is. I don't splain anything.
Rob,
Yeah.
last night I might have incited both Hammy and Blake talking to GoPro.
I don't. And I
thought Hammy was gonna explode me.
What happened?
I still have not mentally came back from that.
What happened?
Hammy talked to GoPro. Hammy talked to GoPro, and Thrayle went straight for the aliens and Flat Earth.
Got it. And
he said he believed in the God of gods, and I asked him if that God was Marduk, because Marduk was also a god of gods, or king of gods, or ruler of gods, or whatever it was. And he instantly latched on and talked about the Anunnaki being aliens who came through the flat earth dome.
Now, see, the thing here, Rab, let me explain to you. Like, individual... I'm sorry, there's no nice word for this. Individual stupidity. I can handle. I can sit there and question it. I can sit there and tactfully go through it and go one by one. But that did not happen. I was scattershot with like 5 million things at once, and my brain could not. It overloaded, and I was groaning. I was
Disappointed.
stumbling over word. Like I couldn't get any word out. At one point in time, I almost begged for some kind of clarity, and I was let down tremendously. And I think after today, I might have to take a break from the Batcolyte for a while because of, and I fully blame Kat for this.
I just thought like we had all talked to him, so you should too.
He's a nice guy. I mean, he means well.
He's great. Yeah, he's great. We love GoPro. Hammy, we literally broke Hammy a little bit.
Also, how great is his laugh? Isn't his laugh the best, Hammy? Did you get to hear his laugh?
I don't even remember.
We didn't get him laughing very much. A little bit, but mostly jabs at the flat Earth, and yeah.
That's the best part. The laughs are,
Oh, he's a real good sport.
I will give you that. He is a good sport, but at the same time, like, my brain broke, and I couldn't ask questions. Not once. Until it got
so
closer
funny.
towards the end.
It literally took him like 10 minutes or so to like even be able to form like words.
The only question I kept asking at first was, why? Just why? And no one answered me. Why? They just laughed at me, Brav.
We did that. We did.
It was really funny. Especially because Blake was here too, so you both were kind of broken.
There was one part where I just was sitting there going, and as I'm doing this, I can hear that I've broken Kat, because Kat is just hysterically laughing at my reaction, and I just I had a short circuit and I couldn't overcome it.
It was really funny.
Yes, Hammy was having a spammy moment.
Hammy was spammy.
In my defense, I didn't know that Thrayle was gonna go straight for that. Like when he came up, like I didn't think Thrayle was just gonna like incite chaos that like quickly.
Did you think I was gonna go for Bible contradictions?
Well, no, but I wasn't expecting we were gonna go straight to aliens and the flat Earth. Like I was like,
Rev, it literally went like this.
it was really a team effort between me and Thrayle.
Rev,
that we didn't plan at all.
Comes up.
Once he came up, I was aiming to break as much of Hammy's brain as possible.
This is exactly how it played out, Rav. He comes up, and Thrayle does his normal, can you remind me what your age is? And he gives his age. And then he says, do you believe in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that? And he said, God, the God of gods. So I'm over here like thinking, okay, we're dealing with a Christian. Okay, awesome. Let's see. I thought maybe he was like a funny Christian that everybody liked. I thought that maybe that there was not too much about him that was out of the ordinary. And then
wrong again, Hammy.
I know.
He is a funny Christian that we all like.
True.
Because then no, he is not. Because then we sit there, and whenever Thrayle brought up Marduk, he sat there and was like, I don't know who that is. So I'm like thinking, okay, yes, I'm right on track. This is a Christian, a normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill Christian. And then Thrayle said, are the Anunnaki involved? And I was like, well, clearly not. This man is like a Christian. And he goes, yeah,
God-fearing Christian.
they're involved. And I'm like, oh, okay,
Everything
this
I
is
know is a
weird,
lie.
but I can handle that. I can handle this little bit of weirdness. And then all these other random things, like as soon as the Anunnaki got involved, it was like a scatter shot of thing after thing after thing after thing after thing, and I was like, oh, oh no.
I didn't. Okay,
This
so
tiny crack in the dam is becoming a huge problem now.
this narrative is making it so much better. Like this, like thought process of Hammy's that I didn't know was
Hammy
so
retelling
much better.
things is always better than living the thing. Like, get Hammy frustrated and then have him tell you the story of how he got frustrated. It will always be way better than
This is so much better because you're like clearly not Thrayle. What are you thinking? Oh.
I'm still actually traumatized. Like I'm traumatized right now still.
That's really funny.
And I was flooded with all these things, and I'm just now still
He
getting
was-
some of that water out of my
was
lungs.
So befuddled he could not get a question out.
I literally couldn't make a sentence. There were no words.
A fun
Verbs
fact,
eluded him.
that was my brain, inside my brain too. Like there was no words, just
Look, talk to him like 2 or 3 more times. He grows on you, and then you'll love him too.
Like a fungus.
Look, I made fun of Raleigh whenever she had the black mold in her house, and we were all joking about that. Like, no, I will not. Like, fungus will no.
He's gonna grow on you.
I stand by the fact that he is a nice guy. He's a good sport, but no, he will not grow on me. My
I would
brain,
have said
my
that
brain
too
cannot
after the
handle
first
it.
time, but
He's here.
I am still on the fence of our resident Discordian, and I've talked to him several times.
who Buttons? You got beef with Buttons? What the fuck?
Him too. The other Discordian.
We have
Carnivahala.
multiple Discordians. Yeah.
I'm still on the fence of Carnivahala, and I've had several conversations, both in the live and in the Discord with him, and I'm still on the fence about him. So, I mean, if that tells you anything, I don't think he's going to grow on me. And GoPro, I see that you are in the chat, and yes, like I said, you are a very nice person, and you
He's
are
not
very
offended.
Yeah, I just you broke my brain, and I don't like that.
I have to get going. And the end is here, so I feel like it's a. Thank you for having me in this early morning chat. I wish you all a good day and good night, or whatever relative time it is.
Have a good day, Rob.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to listen to the
appreciate you,
poetry
brother.
from the chat.
Thank you, sir. Take care. We appreciate you as always, and I do think it might be about that time that we
Thank you
thank
for contributing to breaking your brain, Hammy.
It's okay. Revenge will be coming.
Do we take one more guess before the end? There's always one in queue right now.
I mean, why
See
not?
if they're there. They might not be there. Hello, 005. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
22.
Do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
Yes, I believe in, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ, and I believe in God.
And have you read the Bible from beginning to end?
Yes, twice.
Do you believe it to be entirely true and literal?
Yes, I do.
So everything in it, like the 6-day creation, the global flood, all those things are true?
Yes, indeed.
Why do you believe those are true?
Because I think the evidence is there. It's proven, and I think history tells that.
Can you tell me what evidence there is for the 6-day creation? I see.
That's too bad. I'm just a little bit impressed that he had read his whole Bible twice.
First of all, how dare you even assume that, or ask him about that question, Thrayle?
Right. We got a Sebastian. Did you mean to request up Sebastian right at the end?
Hello?
Hello. Did you mean to request up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I would just... Wait, why am I not loaded in? It's just a black box. Anyway, I just heard you had another guest and he was a Christian and, yeah, you know.
Hopeful to join in the questioning. I got you.
Yeah. The one last...
Well, I appreciate it. It's good
I
to
just
see
got
you,
home.
though.
Yeah, good to see you guys. I just got home from, work and some volleyball training. I'm surprised you're still on.
I am too.
Yeah. It's late. You're never...
Honestly, I'm in bed and I'm still figuring out how I have not just passed out.
Right.
Perhaps the poem will help. I'm definitely feeling...
Yeah.
You feeling good too?
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to the poem, as always.
I'm eating some cheesecake for breakfast. I'm good. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Cheesecake.
Ooh. Can I have some? Sounds great.
Hell yeah.
You know what, Kat? You know what? I just... You break my brain and then you want to sit there and
Uh-huh.
You guys are awesome. I'm gonna drop you all. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy your cheesecake. Hammy,
It was
enjoy
fun.
your sleep.
Oh,
It was fun. And I caught you mid-sentence. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all of the questions, all of the taps, all the shares, all the engagement, all of the everything. But most importantly, more than any of it, I appreciate you being here, every single one of you. Whether you were deeply engaged in tapping the screen all 70,000 times, or if you were questioning vigorously all of the believers or yourself. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And of course, even if you just came in and fell asleep, thank you for that too. And most importantly, thank you to the mods. I really appreciate all of you for helping to keep this such a comfortable place for this, the best audience on TikTok. Thank you guys so much. And if you want to if you want to join the community and see what we do behind the scenes, between the lives, of course you can join the Discord. There's a link tree in my bio or in the Batcolyte's bio. Either one will take you there. You just got to make sure you read the rules when you get there. Otherwise it looks a little lonely. But if you can't agree to them, then you should find out that you're not alone. And if you stumble across the Venmo or the Cash App in that link tree and you want to show your support that way, it is always appreciated. And I really do thank every one of you who helped that way. Thank you guys so much. It does make all the difference. And I think, well, I mean, I think there's really only one thing left, right? We have reached for the edges of why, for reasons to live and for ways not to die. We wrestled with mysteries dressed up as fact, with answers rehearsed and conclusions compact. We asked, what is soul? What is self? What is fate? What waits past the veil? What locks every gate? And somewhere between the confident tone was a tremor, too human to stand there alone. Three words sit heavy on pride like a stone. Not heresy, not defeat. I don't know. Not the shrug of the lazy, the willfully blind, but the clearing of fog from the front of the mind. Not the end of the road with a rusted out sign, but the moment you step past the painted white line. I don't know. Is oxygen pulled into doubt? It widens the rib cage from inside out. It loosens the first. There was clinging to creed. The fist that was clinging to creed, and opens the palm to examine the seed. Because certainty is easy when borrowed and worn. It goes on loosely like an old hand-me-down. But honesty strips you of banners and throne and leaves you with questions that must be your own. What if the bravest thing said in the room is not some pronouncement of heaven or doom? What if the crack where your sureness gave way is precisely where better questions can stay? I don't know is a doorway, not a brick in a wall. It is the frame without any door yet installed. It's standing at midnight with a map torn through and still choosing north because north is true. From there, you can measure and test and revise. From there, you can sharpen instead of disguise. From there, you can build something solid, sound, not castles suspended above the ground. Understanding is not a fortress complete, it's scaffolding rising on incomplete feet. And every admission the ego outgrows is another rung higher than arrogance knows. So, if tonight stripped some polish away, if something you trusted began to sway, do not rush to silence the quake in your chest. That tremor is thought, refusing to rest. Say it cleanly. Say it without disguise. Let it steady your pulse and level your eyes. I don't know, and mean it. And then let that honesty widen your view. Let it carve better questions, sharper than you. Let it keep you restless, awake and aware, more faithful to truth than to comfort or prayer. This stream will go dark. The silence will grow. But carry those 3 fierce words as you go, not as surrender, not as a wall, but as an invitation to question the awe. And on that note, until the next time we meet in darkness and seek wisdom together, I love you all. Take care.